And thanks to each and every one of you for your powerful and fascinating contributions. And it's so heartening to hear absolute consensus across this chamber from all corners as to Ireland's proud track record in terms of our aid programme internationally, and also Ireland's utter commitment to reaching that target of 0.7% of GNI. Can I suggest, Deputy Wallace, and don't discount for a moment that that's an excellent book, and I perhaps might have a look at it myself, but I just finished another book called Factfulness by a guy called Hans Rosling, which seems to outline a particularly pessimistic view of the world, and he has outlined a far more optimistic view of the world, and perhaps the truth is somewhere in between. But certainly one incontrovertible fact is that in the year in which I was born, 1965, 50% of the world's people lived in absolute poverty. Last year, that figure was down to 9%. So, we're making significant progress. And not to say that we don't have to constantly redouble our efforts. No, it's the same measurement. It's the same measurement. Okay, all right. And can I also say, there have been many mentions earlier on in the discussion about that target of 0.7% of GNI. We as a government are absolutely committed to that. It was restated again, Deputy O'Sullivan was there at the launch of the policy by the Taoiseach, the Tánaiste and myself. At the Foreign Affairs Committee, there always has been and remains absolute consensus around that target. Paschal Donoghue, our Finance Minister, in the most recent budget allocated an additional €110 million to our budget, the largest such increase in over a decade. And that is the order, roughly the order of the figure we need to achieve, an increase of roughly about €100 million every single year between now and 2030. So thankfully we have complete consensus in that, and I would ask that if it transpires that that consensus begins to unravel, and I don't expect it would, that those who have been most vocal in supporting it will continue to support it, and I'm confident that that's exactly the case that will apply in the future. We now need to move, having produced the policy, and as Deputy O'Sullivan said, we talk the talk, now let's walk the walk. We move into the next phase of the journey, positioning Ireland to deliver on that ambition outlined in the policy A Better World. And as we look to 2030, maintaining our high standards and consolidating the quality for which we are known will continue to be at the heart of what we do. Achieving our vision to see that better world is also about achieving commitments at home. And again, quite rightly, many of you raised the issue of climate action. And thankfully, we now have a close to consensus, with the absence of Sinn Féin and perhaps one or two others, emanating from the Climate Change Committee, chaired by Deputy Hildegard Naughton, on what exactly we need to do as a country to honour our commitments and to show that we do have that absolute policy coherence when it comes to advocating for climate change actions internationally. This is a commitment and an agenda for the many government departments, including my own, responsible for delivering on the Sustainable Development Goals which ultimately help to achieve that better world. And in that regard, I look forward to continued strong collaboration across all departments of government in positioning Ireland to strategically contribute to addressing key global challenges. There can be no doubt that these global challenges are absolutely immense. It's a simple fact that our collective vision, this country's, our people's vision of a more peaceful, a more equal and a more sustainable world will not be possible without ensuring equal rights and opportunities to half of the world's population, who are women and girls. Gender equality is both a basic human right and fundamental to sustaining peace, to building a strong economy and a prosperous and healthy society. And yet we are seeing a rollback in some of the hard-won gains in achieving gender equality in recent years. The challenges we are facing highlight the central and fundamental necessity of inclusive and resilient governance institutions that can underpin the social contract, foster collective action and deliver better outcomes for all of our citizens. Ireland is committed and remains absolutely committed to being at the forefront of global efforts to deliver on the vision of the Sustainable Development Goals and a better world for those most vulnerable and for future generations. We remain committed to playing a leadership role in ensuring that Ireland embraces change, invests in innovation and reorients our interventions as we work to build that more equal, peaceful and sustainable world we want to see and to be part of. Embracing technological innovation, and we had a wonderful discussion hosted by UNICEF this morning at Facebook HQ and exactly how we're going to do that. Embrace technological innovation, which holds the promise of innovative solutions central to all of our work in working towards a better world in the future. And we will work to ensure that the benefits of that innovation will extend to everyone, especially to women and to girls. Thanks once again for all of your contributions. I look forward to working with all of you as we redouble our efforts in pursuing that vision outlined in a policy for international development, a better world. Thank you.